Listening is an act of love. Thank you. You can help lift up the voices, stories, and challenges we share by making a contribution at thiswayout.org.
A sincere thank you to all of you who already support This Way Out. Your support matters.
I'm Tanya Kane-Perry.
And I'm Marcos Nájera.
With NewsWrap, a summary of some of the news in or affecting LGBTQ communities around the world for the week ending January 29th, 2022. Botswana will accept court rulings that repealed Penal Code statutes against private, consensual adult gay sex. The government had appealed the High Court's 2019 decriminalization ruling to the Court of Appeals, which upheld the decision last November. President Mokgweetsi Masisi reportedly met with members of lesbian, gays, and bisexuals of Botswana on January 24th, after officially announcing that his government would abide by the final court ruling. He told them, "We demand and expect anybody to respect the decisions of our court." The Southern African Litigation Center is the national rights group that fought the decriminalization battle in Botswana's courts. The country is one of a handful in Africa that has overturned antiquated anti-queer sex laws: Angola, Lesotho, Mozambique, and the Seychelles. LGBTQ equality is embedded in South Africa's constitution. Civil marriage was opened to same-gender couples there in 2006.
In neighboring Namibia, two queer couples who legally married abroad lost their quest for recognition at the nation's High Court. Daniel Degashu and Johan Pagaider married in South Africa, and Annette Saylor-Leals and Anita Saylor-Leals tied the knot in Germany. Both couples now live in Namibia, where their legal fight is a bread-and-butter issue. South African Degashu and German-born Anita Saylor-Leals are both denied government permits to work in Namibia based on their marital status. That's essentially automatic for opposite gender binational married couples. The three-judge panel wrote, "We believe it is time for the Namibian Constitution to reflect that homosexuality is part and parcel of the fabric of our society, and that persons, human beings, in homosexual relationships are worthy of being afforded the same rights as other citizens." However, they felt bound by a more than 20-year-old Supreme Court decision that rejected the constitutional recognition of same-gender relationships. Judge Hanali Prinsloo said that only the top court can correct itself. Attorneys for the two couples said that they would take that suggestion to heart. They'll now appeal to a hopefully more enlightened Supreme Court.
Hong Kong's Court of Appeal has upheld the requirement that trans people undergo full gender reassignment surgery before changing the gender marker on their government identification documents. Two transgender men challenged the policy, which was upheld by a November 2019 High Court judgment. But on January 26th, the Court of Appeal ruled that authorities must have what it called a clear, definite, consistent, and objective yardstick to determine a person's gender. It said that surgery provides clear and irreversible resemblance closest to the preferred sex. Both plaintiffs have British passports that list their gender as male. They both had top surgery, but fear the physical and emotional scars of being forced to endure full gender reassignment surgery, which also requires sterilization. Joanne Leong is chairperson of Hong Kong's Transgender Resource Center. She told Agence France-Presse, "The court has a very limited understanding of what sex and gender are and still upholds a binary separation of biological sex." At least one of the plaintiffs, Henry C., said he would file a challenge to the latest setback with the Court of Final Appeal.
The French Parliament has driven the final nail into the coffin of conversion therapy. Lawmakers made it official with a unanimous vote on January 25th. President Emmanuel Macron tweeted, "Let's be proud. These unworthy practices have no place in the Republic. Being yourself is not a crime because there is nothing to be cured." The national ban prohibits the barbaric, medically debunked practice that claims to turn queer people straight through a combination of counseling and prayer. It outlaws behaviors or words aiming to modify or repress a person's sexual orientation or identity, having an effect that alters their physical or mental health. The new Penal Code statutes punish offenders with up to 2 years in prison and a fine equivalent to about $34,000 US.
Roman Catholic Pope Francis has issued yet another pro-queer pronouncement. During his weekly general audience on January 26th, the Pope made off-the-cuff remarks concerning the difficulties parents may encounter raising their children. He said, "Parents who see different sexual orientations in their children should consider how to handle this, how to accompany their children, and not hide behind an attitude of condemnation. Never condemn your children." Francis first alarmed traditionalists in 2013 when he told journalists that LGBTQ people should not be marginalized in society, famously saying, "Who am I to judge?" He said in 2020 that queer family members should be embraced. While reiterating that the sacrament of marriage cannot be changed, he has also supported civil union laws for gay and lesbian couples. LGBTQ members of the 1.3 billion member church have generally expressed appreciation for the Pope's supportive words, but continue to lament any real changes in doctrine or policy.
Football Australia took action against the A-League Melbourne Victory this week for homophobic fan chants taunting Adelaide United defender Josh Cavallo in early January. The $5,000 fine will fund LGBTQ awareness and education initiatives. FA Chief Executive James Johnson said, "To be clear, the actions of the spectators responsible for using homophobic slurs against Josh Cavallo were completely unacceptable." Cavallo has called on social media behemoths Instagram and Twitter to address continued online bullying. Adelaide United has asked for a police investigation into abusive language and death threats directed at Cavallo on those and other platforms.
Homophobic verbal abuse has been a long-running problem in Mexico. Derogatory anti-queer chants of puto have been criticized but rarely punished, until now. The Mexican Football Federation has announced that football fans there will be banned from stadiums for 5 years if they're found to have chanted homophobic epithets. The federation has been fined by World Football Authority FIFA in the past for such chants during matches. Some matches have even been held in empty stadiums because of unruly anti-queer fans.
Meanwhile, LGBTQ fans and allies in the U.S. are suing the owners of Chicago Soldier Field for puto chants by Mexican fans during 2019 Gold Cup matches. The lawsuit alleges that Soldier Field failed to adequately protect LGBTQ fans from seemingly endless puto chants, even though management had been warned in advance that such abuse might become a problem. A prestigious law firm has succeeded in moving the lawsuit from state court to federal court, according to Outsports, because the case involves citizens of different states and the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000. If successful, the lawsuit will put owners and managers of other venues, stadiums, and arenas on notice. They can be held financially liable for not taking effective action to stop such verbal abuse from taking place.
Finally, as we've previously reported, retiring James Bond star Daniel Craig has dabbled in queerdom before, and so perhaps has his iconic master spy character. A particularly homoerotic scene between Craig and Skyfall villain Javier Bardem was nearly cut by the studio, but the producers insisted on keeping it in the movie.
Oh, Mr. Bond. See what she's done to you.
Well, she never tied me to a chair.
Her loss. Well, first time for everything. Yes.
What makes you think this is my first time?
The co-star's latest flirtation with fabulous came during an online conversation this week on Variety's Actors on Actors series. The two actors' birthdays are 1 day and 1 year apart.
We actually celebrated our birthday together once.
I think I remember you were in drag, but I know that's a whole other story.
Coming out of a
Anyway,
cake. I was supposed to be the Bond girl that night, and oh my God, I was.
Bardem reportedly sang Happy Birthday to Craig a la Marilyn Monroe to U.S. President John Kennedy.
Happy birthday to you.
That's NewsWrap, global queer news with attitude for the week ending January 29th, 2022. Follow the news in your area and around the world. An informed community is a strong community.
NewsWrap is written by Greg Gordon, edited by Lucia Chappelle, produced by Brian DeShazer, and brought to you by you.
Help keep us in ears around the world at thiswayout.org, where you can also read the text of this newscast and much more.
And you can read the transcript and listen to NewsWrap each week by subscribing to our This Way Out radio channel on YouTube. For This Way Out, I'm Tanya Kane Perry. Stay healthy.
And I'm Marcos Nájera. Stay safe.
This Way Out delivers LGBTQ news and culture to more than 150 local communities on radio stations around the world, and we are also a free online news service. You can choose your favorite way to listen, online or on the air, at thiswayout.org. Please sign up for our free e-newsletter, Inside This Way Out. We will respect your trust in us and make sure your personal information is never shared with others.
Just send us an email at info@thiswayout.org to receive the informative and unique addition to the show. You'll be invited to join us for a more in-depth look into our stories and be encouraged to learn more about This Way Out's 3 decades of broadcast activism.
We hope you choose to join us in celebration of LGBTQ history and culture. Email us at info@thiswayout.org to join the movement.
We'll make sure you always know what's going on inside This Way Out.